Wondering how a Disney trip is different in 2021? I'm sharing my experiences from my May trip, my first post-pandemic trip, and talking about things I'd like to stay, things I'd like to go, and my overall experience.
I'm Christina. I'm a traveler, a planner, and most importantly, a mom. I'm sharing my best tips to make traveling as a family a little less stressful. So put down your phone, pack your bags, and let's showcase the world.
My name's Christina, and as a family travel advisor specializing in Disney vacations, I have been to Disney over 30 times. But this trip was so different because it was my first trip back since the pandemic started last year. Probably the longest I've gone without being in the parks, and a lot of things had changed. I do want to preface this video with things are changing constantly, so some of the things I talk about in this video probably have changed from the time that I traveled to the time that I put this video up to the time that you're watching it. So just know that things are changing constantly. The best way to make sure you're on top of that is to use a travel advisor. It's their job to make sure they know about all the changes and to notify you. So you don't have to be looking for things. You don't have to worry about if something changes in the middle of your planning. You have someone who has your back. As an example, so Disney changed their mask policy about a week before we left. And they changed their policy to be that masks were no longer required outdoors in common areas. You did need them in outdoor queues. You did need them in indoor locations. So basically, anytime you entered a queue, you did have to put your mask on. But that could change by the time this video goes up. We don't know when masks are going away indoors. Again, they're making small tweaks to their policy almost on a daily basis. So to make sure that you have the most up-to-date information, make sure you check the know before you go. There's new things opening up every day. So Tusker House is opening up this week. We just got an announcement that the Boo Bash is happening this spooky season, and concierge level rooms are available to book as of right now for trips September and later. There's still some hotels that are unopened, so if you are thinking about planning a trip this fall, availability is extremely limited, and we don't know when the rest of those hotels are going to open. If you are looking at if the resort you typically stay at is closed and you're looking for someplace else to stay, or you're not really sure the best resort for you, I do have a guide. It's called The Ultimate Guide to Picking the Best Disney Resort for Your Family. It doesn't talk about the best Disney resort for me or the best Disney resort for somebody else. It guides you into choosing the best Disney resort for you. All right, so all of that being said, let's jump in. There are some things I really, really enjoyed about this trip. The main one is personal space. I loved not hearing "please fill in all the available space." Love not having to smell sweaty people on the bus. I don't think that that's going to stay, but I would love it to. The relaxation stations were incredible. Nice places where you can kind of cool off out of the heat. There was additional seating at a lot of places and a lot of additional outdoor seating at quick service locations. I really, really hope those stay. I loved the assigned seating on the buses. I know there's been a lot of complaints about bus wait times. We did not take Magical Express, so we didn't have to worry about that wait time. But the other wait times, we never waited more than 10 minutes for a bus, with one exception. We probably waited 25 minutes tops for a bus. Disney chartered a lot of buses, and it was really nice getting on those charter buses instead of the Disney transportation like city buses. But having assigned seats, they'd ask you how many people in your party, and then they tell you where to sit, and it was so nice. It was not a free-for-all. You weren't fighting for a seat. You got to sit at the end of the day. I really loved the security process. I think that's going to end up staying. Basically, you don't have to go through bag check unless you're flagged in the new. It's kind of like a metal detector. It's like this really fancy metal detector, though, so they can kind of scan you and see what you have on you. Some things I learned: batteries are going to flag you. Cameras are going to flag you, and RFID bags are going to flag you. So my previous security tips about packing everything in clear bags doesn't really go anymore. Now it's make sure that you have your camera and your fan and anything with a battery, carry it, holding it out in front of you, and don't pack anything in an RFID protection bag. I loved the cavalcades. The cavalcades were adorable. It was so much fun. We sent my mom a video of my daughter, who's 2, experiencing a cavalcade, which is basically a mini parade. It's a one float parade, essentially, but they're not scheduled. And the idea behind that is that they're not going to, get a ton of crowds because you just kind of happen upon them. And I sent my mother a video of my daughter enjoying the cavalcade, and she was like, why is no one standing next to you? And not only did we love that part, not like having to get your parade spot an hour before the parade to make sure you actually get a spot, and then people are going to push you out of your spot anyway. It was so nice to be able to see the characters go by. She loved waving to them. They weren't scheduled. You happened upon them if you got them. I really, really hope those stay. It was so much fun. It was great to see some rare characters like Max and the 3 Caballeros, and as well as familiar faces like the princesses and the Fab Five. It was so, so fun, and I really, really hope those stay. On the same line, I really hope the unplanned character encounters stay, not having to stand in hour-long lines to meet Mickey, just being able to see them from afar, take selfies. There's no line to meet them. You just kind of step up to the little areas and take selfies. Really, really, really hope those stay. Things that I wish would go. The partitions on the ride vehicles. It's really hard to see Frozen Ever After when you have plexiglass in front of you. Maybe it started clear, but it was not clear anymore. It was really, really hard for especially someone who was a little shorter, like a 2-year-old, to be able to see through those. The other thing that I did not love is a lot of queues have moved outdoors. Obviously, that's to cut down on transmission, because not as much transmission happens outdoors, but it means it's very, very hot. So hopefully those indoor air-conditioned queues come back. Other things that I would like to come back are the dining options. Dining was very difficult. There were only 3 or 4 options on every menu. I really would like to see those full menus back. I'd like to see the closed restaurants open. It's very hard to get dinner reservations right now because there's just not enough places open. So I want to see those restaurants come back online quickly. I want to see them go back to their full menus. I want to see the dining plan come back as well. I love the dining plan. I especially love the dining plan when I'm traveling with my mother-in-law. Not because I don't love my mother-in-law. I love her dearly, and I'm very, very lucky that I have such a great mother-in-law. But we did fight every night about who was going to pay the bill. So having a dining plan where we've all already prepaid for our food is so, so nice. That's one of my biggest tips for traveling with multiple families, when I travel with my in-laws or when I travel with my parents. If you want to check out that video, that's a very recent video actually. Check out that video on my tips for how to travel with multiple families. The other thing that I would love to see back are Fast Pass. There were some attractions we didn't do because we just weren't going to wait in line for them. I'm very, very lucky that I know when I'm going back, and I don't feel like I missed out on anything by not waiting in those lines. I've experienced them before. I'll experience them again, but I really, really liked having the Fast Pass for those 3 attractions every day that you didn't have to wait in line for. There is a rumor going around that it will be a paid service like Universal when it does come back. This is just rumor at this point. We have not heard anything from Disney, but if you do want to learn a little bit about the differences between Fast Pass and the Universal Express Pass, check out this video that I did on the difference between the two, and that will kind of help you with what that might look like. The last thing I really missed were the fireworks. I'd really like to see the fireworks back. Honestly, if they don't come back in 20-minute shows and they only come back in 5-minute shows that are, a few times a night to spread the crowds out, I think that would be better. Now that I love the cavalcades more than the parades, maybe they can do something similar with the fireworks. I would love to see that. If you need help planning your 2021 vacation, I would love to help you. Do not hesitate. Like I said earlier, availability is extremely, extremely limited. So reach out today, schedule a call. I'll put the link to that below. I'll also put a link to the resort guide, the guide to choosing the best resort for your family. I'll put both of those things below, and make sure you hit the bell for more of my Disney vacation experience. And don't forget to take a break from the busy.
Need help planning your next family vacation? Visit us at showcasetheworld.com to request a quote or schedule a free vacation consultation. Want more great travel tips? You'll find those there too.